Let's begin with the lecture on a topic that is amines. This lecture we will discuss the classification of amines, on what basis the amines are classified, the nomenclature of amines, how the amines are named according to the IUPAC as well as common name system, and what are the structural aspects of the amines. Before starting with the classification of amine, let's have a look on the introduction of the amine, that is how the amines are obtained and what are the characteristics of amine. So the amines are nothing but the nitrogenous compound. It means that they contains a nitrogen in their structure with a lone pair, and the main characteristic of amine is they are basic in nature. These amines are obtained by the replacement of one or more hydrogen of the ammonia either by alkyl group or by aryl group. So whatever the derivatives which are obtained by the replacement of this hydrogen by alkyl group or aryl group, all these derivatives are they called as amines. So in this way we can define the amines are nothing but the derivatives of ammonia obtained by replacement of one or more hydrogen of ammonia either by alkyl or aryl group. Similarly, a inorganic substituent such as chlorine, when it is attached to the nitrogen, that is one hydrogen of the ammonia is replaced by chlorine, then we get a chloramine. It is also a amine. Here the chlorine is an inorganic substituent. So organic or inorganic substituents may attach to the nitrogen, then that compounds or that derivatives are called as a amines. Now see the classification of amine. The classification of amine depends upon the 2 points or 2 facts: the substituent attached to the nitrogen, that is the nature of substituent, and the number of substituent attached to the nitrogen. First point, the nature of substituent on which the classification depends. Here the substituents are nothing but the alkyl or aryl group. Suppose the hydrogen of the ammonia is replaced by alkyl group, then we get alkyl amine. And the general structure of alkyl amine, I will write RNH2. Here R means alkyl, it may be a methyl, ethyl, propyl, and so on. Now, if the hydrogen is replaced by aryl group, that is a benzene ring, then we get a aryl amine. So I will write the general structure here, ArNH2. Ar means aromatic ring. Now, in addition to these two amines, alkyl and aryl amine, if two hydrogens are replaced and one alkyl and one aryl group is attached there, then we get aryl alkyl amines. So third category, according to the nature of substituent, we get here a alkyl aryl amine. Right here the third category, that is aryl alkyl amine, when one hydrogen is replaced by alkyl group and another hydrogen is replaced by aryl group. So I will write here ArNH, then here I will write R. In this way, on the basis of nature of substituent, alkyl aryl or alkyl aryl amines we are getting. Now see the classification based on the number of substituent. We know that in ammonia there is a presence of three hydrogens. So we can replace one or two or three hydrogen and gives different amines. Suppose one hydrogen is replaced by either alkyl group or aryl group, then we get here this type of structure RNH2 or ARNH2. And when there is a presence of NH2 group in the amine, these amines are called as a primary amine. So the number of substituent here, there is only one substituent, that is it may be a alkyl or aryl. Now the example of the primary amine is, I will write here a CH3NH2 or PHNH2. Here methyl amine is there and PHNH2 means we can call it as a benzenamine or it is simply aniline. So when one hydrogen is replaced, we get a primary amine. It is the first type on the basis of number of substituent. Then suppose two hydrogens are replaced by either alkyl group or aryl group. So I will write here the structures. First, that is alkyl group, then NH, then R2. R1 and R2, it means that there are two alkyl groups. They are attached to the nitrogen in place of two hydrogen. Now, the second example I will write here, in which there is a replacement of two hydrogen by a aryl group. So we get two benzene ring attached to the nitrogen. Now here it is possessing NH group. It is also having a NH group, that is imino group is there, and the amines which is formed, it is called as a secondary amine. It is also a secondary amine. It is clear that when there is a replacement of two hydrogen either by alkyl or aryl group, we get a secondary amine, and the NH group is also called as a imino group. Now the example of this secondary amine, I will write here CH3NHCH3, that is dimethyl amine, and here I will write that is C6H5NH, C6H5NH, that is diphenylamine. Here now the third category I will write here on the basis of number of substituents. Suppose all the three hydrogens are replaced by alkyl group or aryl group, then we get this type of structure, that is R1, N, then R2, and third, that is R3. R1, R2, R3, they are nothing but the alkyl groups. Or if I replace all the hydrogen by AR group, then we get here AR. In this way, three hydrogens are replaced, and here only there is a nitrogen and all others are substituents. So this type of structure is called as a tertiary amine, which is obtained by replacement of three hydrogens. Now in this structure there are three alkyl group, therefore it is called as a trialkyl amine. And in this structure there is a presence of aryl group, therefore it is called as a triaryl amine. And in place of R1, R2 and R3, I will place a CH3 group, that is NCH3 and NCH3. So it is a trimethylamine. Similarly, we can write triethylamine, tripropylamine. Then in place of AR, I will write here a C6H5N, then C6H5, and here a C6H5. It is a triphenylamine. So here in secondary amine we have used di, here we are using tri, and if it is quaternized one, then we can use a tetra. So here in amines, as already I have said, we can use a di, tri, tetra as a prefix to indicate the name of the amines. But the substituent, they must be a same when we are using di, tri or tetra. In this way, The amines are classified according to the number of substituent in a primary amine, secondary amine, or tertiary amine type. In addition to this, there is another amine which is having a nitrogen in a cyclic structure, and that amine is called as a cyclic amine. So the fourth category in a number of substituents, we can write here a cyclic amine. Now the cyclic amines generally we are getting when there is a presence of secondary or a tertiary amino group in the cyclic structure. How? First of all, we will see the examples. So I will write here a three-membered ring and one carbon is replaced by NH group. Then I will write a four-membered ring where one carbon is replaced by NH group. Then a fifth, that is five-membered ring and one carbon is replaced by NH. Now I will write again a five-membered ring, but here instead of NH I will write NCH3. The next example is a six-membered ring with NH, and final example I will write it CH3. Okay. Look at the structure of this amines carefully. They are having a cyclic structure, but the nitrogen is present in the cyclic structure. That's why they are called as cyclic amine. And if you look carefully the structure here, there is a presence of NH, 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 and in this there is NH. So NH group is present, that is imino group is present, and in this structure and the final structure they are having a presence of N which is attached to the two carbons and here a third carbon, that is a tertiary amino group. So either there is a presence of secondary amino group or tertiary amino group in the cyclic amine. Primary amino group is not present in the cyclic amine, but if you take the example like this and NH2 is written outside the ring, then it is a primary amine, but it is not having a nitrogen inside the ring. So it is not included in this category. So we will write here the name of this cyclic amines. It is a aziridine, a four-membered ring having nitrogen. It is a azatidine. Five-membered ring. It is called as a pyrrolidine, and this structure has name pyrrolidine, but nitrogen is attached to the methyl group. So I will write here N-methyl pyrrolidine. Here it is a piperidine, and final structure it is nothing but the N-methyl piperidine. In this way, the number of substituents classify the amines into the generally three categories, that is primary, secondary, and tertiary. And fourth is the subcategory, which includes a secondary amino group and tertiary amino group, but it is having a cyclic structure, that is a cyclic amines. So this is all about the classification of the amine based on the nature of substituent and number of substituent. Now we will see the nomenclature of amines, how the systematic names are given to the amines and how the IUPAC nomenclature system is used to name the amines. The nomenclature of amine is very much simple one. In common as well as IUPAC nomenclature, we have to use a suffix amine. In common name system or systematic name system, the suffix amine is used after alkyl, and in case of nitrogen having identical groups, then the prefix such as di, tri, tetra, it is used to indicate the number of identical groups. In a IUPAC nomenclature system, I have told that the suffix amine is used, but it is used in such a way that the last word of alkane, that is E, is replaced by amine. And second rule in the IUPAC nomenclature is capital N is used. N means nitrogen is used to indicate the position or indicate the substitution or which alkyl group is attached to the nitrogen. If there are two different groups are attached to the nitrogen, then a small group is written as a substituent, whereas a largest alkyl group is used to indicate the parent alkane, so that in the IUPAC nomenclature we will have this type of nomenclature, alkanamide, where the last word of alkane is replaced by amine. By using these rules, we can name different amines, a primary amine, secondary amine, as well as a tertiary amine. So let's begin with the primary amine. Here we will take the example of primary amines. I will write the different example, that is CH3NH2, C2H5NH2. Then I will write here CH3, CH, CH3. Then I will write here NH2, CH3, CH, CH2, CH3. Here I will write NH2. Now let's see the common name for this example. According to the common name system, we have to use the word amine after alkyl. Alkyl group is methyl, and that's why we will write here a methyl amine. In this example, the alkyl group is ethyl, that's why we will write ethyl amine. In this example, the alkyl group is nothing but the propyl group, but the NH2 group is attached to the second carbon. So we have to write either isopropyl amine or a secondary propyl amine. So I will write isopropyl amine, which is a common name or systematic name. Here there are four carbons, that's why we have to write butane, and the NH2 group is attached to the second carbon. So I will write here a secondary butyl and amine. In this way, we can name a primary amines according to the common name system or a systematic name system. Now see the IUPAC nomenclature for these examples. So I am writing here IUPAC names. For methyl amine, there is only one carbon, so the parent alkane is methane, and last word, that is E, is replaced by amine, and so we get a methanamine. Here, here ethane, last word is replaced by amine, ethanamine. In the isopropyl amine, we have to number this chain from this side or from this side. First, second, and third. From this side, this carbon also has number 2. Now the NH2 group is attached to the second carbon, so that we have to write 2. Then 3 carbons are there, so I will write propane, and E is replaced by amine, 2 propanamine. In the secondary butyl amine, we have to number this longest carbon chain. From this side, this carbon has third, whereas from this side, if I number, this carbon possesses second number. So I will write here 2-butanamine because there are four carbons. So butane is there and last word is replaced by amine. In this way, secondary butylamine is nothing but the 2-butanamine. Isopropylamine is 2-propanamine. In addition to this, we will take another example in which I will write here formula CH3, then CH, here I will write CH3, here CH2 and here NH2. And the last example from ice primary amine is this NH2. Now both these example they are having four carbons. That's why their parent alkane is butane. But first of all, we will write here a common name. Common name for this example is, look at the structure. There are four carbon, therefore butane, and the CH2NH2 group attached to the second carbon. Therefore, it is also called as a isobutylamine. And this is nothing but the tertiary butylamine. Now, the IUPAC nomenclature for this example, I will write here IUPAC names. For this purpose, we have to take a longest chain and I will write here first number, then here a second number and here third number. So it is a 1-propanamine, but at the second position there is an attachment of methyl. That's why we have to write here a 2-methyl 1-propanamine. 2-methyl 1-propanamine. In case of tertiary butylamine, while writing the IUPAC name, we have to number this carbon chain of first carbon, this is second and third. On this second carbon, there is a presence of amino group as well as methyl group. So we can write here 2-methyl and 2-propanamine. Propane because these are three carbons chain and last E is replaced. Now see the names of secondary amines. In secondary amines, we know that there is a presence of NH group, that is imino group. So we will write first the example of secondary amines. Here I will write a CH3 NH which is attached to the CH3. In the second example, I will write NH. On this side, I will write a CH2 CH3. Then we will take a different example in which a CH3 group is there, then a CH2, then NH, and here on this side I will write a propyl group. So these are the different examples. First of all, we will write common names for these examples. This nitrogen is attached to the two identical group, that is methyl. So we will use a prefix that is dimethyl, and here I will write amine. In this example, these groups are not identical one. On one side there is a ethyl group, on another side there is a methyl group. Now according to the alphabetical order, E first, then we have to write here ethyl, then a methyl and amine. In the third example, there is a presence of ethyl group as well as a propyl group. So we will write here ethyl propyl amine. In this way, Just we have to look upon the substituent which are attached to the nitrogen. If they are identical, we have to use a prefix such as di. If they are not same, we have to write the substituent according to their alphabetical order. Now see the IUPAC names for this compound. In this compound, methyl groups are attached. So out of two methyl group, one methyl group is chosen as a substituent, and before that we have to write N, then methyl, and the remaining is one methyl group, and one methyl group is nothing but parent alkane is methane. That's why we have to write a methane, and last E is replaced by amine. In this way, the name for dimethylamine is N-methyl methanamine. Ethyl methylamine, there are two different groups. One is largest and one is smallest. Smallest group is taken as a substituent, so I have to write here N. Then smallest group is methyl. Then the largest is ethyl, that is parent alkane is ethane. Then we give your name ethanamine, N-methyl ethanamine. In this example, again, smallest group is ethyl and largest is propane. That's why name is N-ethyl propanamine. Now we will see the nomenclature in case of tertiary amines. In tertiary amine, we will take the examples where nitrogen is attached to the three identical group, and another example we will take nitrogen is attached with the different alkyl groups. So I will write the structure of compounds here. Here I will write a CH3, then a second group is CH3, and third group is also CH3. And in the second example, I will write here a CH3. On this side, I will write C2H5, whereas here I will put C3S7. Now look at the common names for this example. As there are three identical groups are attached, I will write a tri as a prefix, then alkyl group is methyl, and the suffix is amine, trimethylamine. In this case, as three different groups are attached, we have to consider a methyl, ethyl, and propyl, and according to their alphabetical order, a ethyl came first. So I will write a ethyl, then methyl, then propyl, and finally a suffix that is amine, ethyl, methyl, propyl, amine. Now see the IUPAC names for this compound. In the trimethylamine, suppose this methyl group and this methyl group, they are substituent, and this methyl group is a parent alkane. So for that purpose, we have to write N, comma N dash. Here two identical groups are there, therefore I will write dimethyl, and parent alkane is methyl, that is methane, methanamine. In this way, trimethylamine is nothing but the N and dimethyl methanamine. In the second example, we have to consider the largest group as a parent alkane and others are substituent. Here, methyl group and ethyl group, they are substituent, whereas propyl group is being a largest and it is nothing but the parent alkane. So I will have to write here N. First of all, ethyl is there, N ethyl, comma N methyl, uh, propanamine. In this way, we can give a common name as well as IUPAC names for tertiary amine. This is all about the aliphatic amine. Let's see the aromatic amines. In case of aromatic amine, we have to take the different example which possesses a benzene ring. First of all, I will write the different example. Suppose the simplest example is there. benzene ring is attached to the NH2 group. Then we will take a substituted nitrogen here, that is NH. Then I will write CH3. Now, third example is of having a substituent at this carbon, and I will write here OCH3. In the fourth example, we will put a substituent on this carbon. Here I will write NH2, and in addition to this, we will see another examples. First of all, we will see the common name for this compound. Look at the structure of this compound. Here, benzene ring is attached with the NH2, and the common name for this compound is aniline. It is a very famous one. In the second example, nitrogen is attached to the benzene ring as well as methyl. Now, here nitrogen is attached to the methyl. This methyl group is taken as a substituent. Therefore, we will write here N-methyl aniline. It is the aniline, but at the second position, that is ortho position, there is a presence of methoxy group. So for that purpose, we will write here O. It indicates ortho position, O methoxy and aniline. In the fourth example, NO2 group is attached to the third position, that is meta position. So I will write here meta nitro aniline. In this way, if substituent is present on the nitrogen, then N is used. If the substituent is present on the benzene ring, we have to use either ortho, meta or para depending upon the position where the groups are attached. Now the IUPAC names for these compounds are, here I will write IUPAC. It is the aniline, and this is the primary aromatic amine. Now this is the benzene ring, and we know that E is replaced by amine. So I will write here benzene, and last word E is replaced by amine. So the name for this aniline is benzenamine. Here N is attached with the methyl, so I will write N-methyl, and remaining will be the benzenamine. In the third example, that is in ortho-methoxyaniline, methoxy group is attached to the second carbon. So in IUPAC nomenclature, we have to use the number 2, 3, 4. 2 indicates ortho, 3 indicates meta, and 4 indicates para. So I will write here a 2, then group is methoxy, then remaining structure is nothing but the benzenamine. In the last example, a meta nitro group is there, so we have to write 3 nitro benzenamine. First of all, I will write here at the fourth carbon, that is para carbon. So I will write a para chloro aniline. In this example, these methyl groups are substituents, so we will write a dimethyl aniline. Now the IUPAC names for these compounds are, here instead of para we have to write 4, then a chloro benzenamine. In this example, nitrogen is there and 2 substituents are attached to the nitrogen, so N dash dimethyl benzenamine. In this way, aromatic amines are named according to the common name as well as IUPAC. Before studying the structure of amine, we have to consider the structure of ammonia. Here the nitrogen is sp3 hybridized, but the bond angle is 106.7 degree, which is shorter than the ideal value. The ideal value we know that it is 109 degree. The shorter bond angle is due to the lone pair which is present on the nitrogen. But in case of amine, though it possesses the lone pair on the nitrogen, the bond angle is very much close to the 109. Here, in case of trimethylamine, the bond angle is 108 and the carbon nitrogen bond length is shorter than the carbon carbon bond length. Now, in case of chiral amines, which are having this type of structure, that is NHRR or NRRR, that is a secondary amine or a tertiary amine. But if they are chiral one, we cannot get a optically pure form. Why it is so? Because they undergoes a inversion of configuration, and the energy which is required for this, it is available at a room temperature. But if the tertiary amines are there and they possess a cyclic ring structure, then we get a pure form. It may be a R isomer or S isomer. So first of all, we will take the amine of type NHRR or NRRR, that is chiral amines having a secondary group or a tertiary amino group. Let us consider this type of amine. Here, the nitrogen is a sp3 hybridized one. We know that. And the inversion of configuration occurs. The lone pairs are present on this orbital. It is sp3 orbital is there. Then in the inversion, this sp3 hybridized nitrogen is going to convert into sp2 hybridized nitrogen, and it is having a planar structure. It is having a planar structure, and the lone pair they are transferred to the p orbital, and this transition state then collapse to form this type of structure, in which we see that the hydrogen R and R dash group and the position of these three groups is like this. But when we get the transition state and collapse of transition state into the second structure, then it is found that the position of this hydrogen and alkyl group they are changed one. It is called as the inversion of configuration. Why it is so? Because suppose this configuration, it may have a R configuration, that is R isomer is there. Then after inversion of configuration, it is going to convert into the S isomer or vice versa. If it is S, then after that we get R configuration or R isomer, and it is occurring in such a way that sp3 nitrogen is converted into sp2 in a transition state, and this sp2 nitrogen again going to convert into the sp3. But this nitrogen and this nitrogen they have a different configuration, and it is called as the inversion of configuration. Now this nitrogen is chiral one because it is attached to the different group, hydrogen, alkyl, alkyl, and here is the lone pair. So chiral amines, which may be a secondary or tertiary, they are not obtained in the optical pure form because of inversion of configuration. Now, suppose the second structure, in which what is happening? A cyclic structure I will write here, that is aziridine, but it is a substituted one, N-methyl, and on this carbon I will put a CH3 and a CH3. It is 1-methyl to 2-methyl. So I will write here 1 to 2 trimethyl aziridine. Now it is of type N R R R. Here three alkyl groups they are different one. So R dash and R double dash. So and it is having a cyclic structure. Now suppose This nitrogen is chiral one because it is attached to the methyl group here. Then here the carbon which is attached to two methyl group, but here the carbon which is attached to only hydrogen. Therefore, this nitrogen is chiral one. And if suppose the configuration of this nitrogen is R, then we get the second isomer of this 1,2,2 trimethyl aziridine, in which the configuration is S, and these two isomers, R isomers as well as S isomers, they are isolable. We can isolate these two isomers. Why? Because this structure, it doesn't undergo it doesn't undergo inversion of configuration. Why it is so? Because it requires higher energy to undergo inversion of configuration, which is not available at the room temperature. That's why the amines which are having a cyclic structure, and if they are chiral one, we can isolate R isomers as well as S isomer of that amine. And if the amines they are not having a cyclic structure, we cannot isolate these forms. So this is about the structural aspects of aliphatic amine as well as a cyclic amine. In case of aromatic amine, what happens? Suppose the example is aniline. We note that this is the structure of aniline. Here, the nitrogen is having a lone pair, and there undergoes a resonance with this double bonds or pi bonds present in the benzene ring. That's why the nitrogen remains a planar to the ring, and we get a planar structure in case of aromatic amine. In this way, we have seen the structural aspect of cyclic amines, aromatic amines, as well as aliphatic amines. If the amine is chiral one and it is not having a cyclic structure, then it undergoes inversion of configuration. If it possesses cyclic structure, the inversion of configuration is not possible. In this way, we have studied the classification of amine, nomenclature of amine, and structural aspects of amine. With this, we will conclude this lecture, and in the next lecture, we will see the methods of formation of amines as well as the reactions of amines. So, with this, we'll stop here. Thank you very much.